Dobar dan. I'm Chris, and I seem to have a special talent. A talent for creating discomfort, and sometimes even making trouble at respectable conferences. So I want to say sorry to you in advance and the very dedicated organizers for my potentially offensive language. Because for me, you won't hear the obligatory, the internet is broken, maybe we should fix it. No, not because I do not agree, but because I consider it much worse than that. To me, the internet, as it has developed, is, and I cannot sugarcoat it, fucked up. And therefore, it won't be enough to fix it incrementally. In my opinion, it has to be changed in a major and radical way. It has to be unfucked. And in my talk, I'm going to tell you how, with IoP, short for the Internet of People. But before I do so, let us start with a part in all of us that has got comfortable with the many, many blessings the internet has brought into our life. I mean, I came here from Germany and I booked my hotel with booking.com, the flight with Ryanair, and I sent emails back and forth with Boris from the organizational staff to sort out all the details. And it all happened very easily and conveniently. And I think nobody in this room wanted to miss the chance to stay connected with friends worldwide via Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So let's put it how it is. Our lives have become better and better and better compared to 10 years ago, only thanks to the internet. So the internet is great. So far, so good when it comes to the level of comfort within the services we didn't have before. They are so good that they make us even forget the not so good things certain participants in the internet ecosystem are capable of doing. And to stay consistent with the language, with my terminology, I will call them upfuckers. And in the internet, upfuckers come in two shapes. They are either service providers like WhatsApp, YouTube, Google, etc., or governments. And these two upfuckers, they are always between us as senders and receivers of data. So besides of delivering the good things, the convenient things we like so much, there are some of the other potential capabilities, such as spying on us, censoring the content we send through the internet. They can manipulate things we want to share in the internet. Or even, if it's not their fault, they might be hacked. So, at the end of the day, it is much more than a privacy concern. And you might say, well, yes, I know they have power over my data, and maybe they abuse it, but maybe it's not that bad, and actually I don't care because I have nothing to hide. But I can give you some real examples how this power is already being abused. So for instance, certain governments block the usage of private platforms for their citizens. So in China, you cannot access WhatsApp, Instagram, and so on. They only have WeChat. So that means that a bunch of people in the Central Committee have decided for 1 billion of Chinese people what they are allowed to see. Or another example, in the US, extreme personalities become deplatformed. That means that on behalf of the government, they are banned from private companies' platforms, Facebook, etc. So, for example, do you know Alex Jones from InfoWars, the conspiracy theorist? So you might say, well, that guy is a weirdo, and it might be better if he keeps his word conspiracy theories for him. But who can guarantee that the rules on deplatforming won't change in the future? And then it might affect you and your endeavors. Or have you heard that the European Parliament wants to make Netflix and other streaming rivals to offer at least 30% of local content or otherwise pay a compensation into a national film fund? So what the heck is this? I mean, the government telling a private company what to produce and is telling the citizens what to consume. Does that ring a bell? It's planned economy and socialism. And it doesn't work. I think especially here in Croatia, you should know that. So, to round that up, all these problems are rooted in the very architecture of the centralized internet. Because everything we see on a screen that came from another device first has to travel through a central web server of a third party. And that gives power to those that control that server. And it's much more than just a privacy concern, because whoever controls your data controls your potential, determines who you can work with whom you can build a relationship, to who you can speak, which information you can get, what opinions you can share, and so on. So, in terms of our online behavior, we are only as free to the extent that these upfuckers let us to be. And to me, that sounds like medieval. It's fucked up. Cannot sugarcoat it. So, it is hardly surprising that there are different crowds that want to change the problem of centralization and tackle it. And one group, or I will highlight some different approaches and assess their potential of unfucking the internet. So one group, let's call them deniers. So they are just fed up. They just want to relinquish all modern technologies, and for different reasons, maybe they say, let's go back to nature and just throw away your smartphone and be good. And in certain times, that might be a good idea. But on the other hand, you would lose all the advantages of our modern world. So I think we need another more viable approach. Another group, let's call them state disciples, they think we only need the right laws that make governments only hunt the really bad guys, the terrorists and so. And that make corporations stop spying on us. But why should the same measures that have brought us here now rescue us? I mean, as I explained, the data on the central servers equals power and potential wealth. And there will always be people that get an advantage from abusing them. So laws won't fix it. So hoping for politicians is like hoping for a benevolent dictator to do the right thing. It won't happen. And these two approaches can be looked at as reactionary ideas. But of course, there are some groups looking into the future, having a more future-oriented approach. And the idea, I think, that will solve this problem in the future is to decentralize the internet, because that's the root of the problem, and we can tackle it by decentralizing and taking away the central power. But it is not sure which technological approach will be the right one to do so. So one group says, well, we pretty much had the same situation in the money system, because whenever we send money to another person, there is always the bank in the middle, and by putting that transaction on the blockchain, we could get rid of that upfucker. I'm sorry if here are many bankers. I know it's a money conference and so, but that's how it is. That was the idea, to get rid of the middleman. And so it suggested itself to do the same with our social data. The problem here is the blockchain is great for many, many use cases. It's really great. But certain data, especially your private data, should not be stored in a public ledger. Because even if it's encrypted there, it might be decrypted one day, and no one can read it now. But if it be decrypted one day, it cannot be changed in terms of its encryption method. And then, data-wise, you would go completely naked. It would not be in the hands only of the central service providers, but potentially in the hands of everyone. And that's quite an uncomfortable situation, I think. So blockchain doesn't work either for social data. But what if there was something else? And recently, I watched a video from Ivan on Tech. Some of you might know him, the famous programmer and YouTuber. And he also spoke about this problem of internet censorship. And he concluded his analysis with a quote, "Guys, I have this one solution. If no one builds it, I will build it myself." And this is exactly where IoP, the internet of people, comes in. Because we are building exactly what the world is asking for. And to understand how that works, please have fun with the following video.
The internet was designed to connect people directly, and for a while it did. But today's internet works very differently. Even though we seem to be more connected than ever, our phones and computers are locked away behind internet service providers, home routers, and countless servers. Connections can only be made on the whims of a handful of companies. Getting through these barriers comes with a cost, either in money or by giving up your personal data. And while it's only fair that service providers should be compensated, these gatekeeper companies have too much power. With no real competition, they can charge what they like. This often comes in the form of control over your personal data, hidden in endless terms and conditions or unclear privacy settings. They use this power to store information about you and your friends and family and sell it to other companies. Even worse, they control what content you can access and who can talk and do business with, either directly or as a result of government pressure. It's hard to believe, but there are enormous parts of the internet most people can't access, including this site. The problem here is centralization. Huge companies are gathering enormous amounts of personal information and storing it all together. This makes them a prime target for hackers and makes life easy for the censors, who only have to apply pressure in one place to get content or even people or ideas blocked. And once data is centralized, it's hard to fix. There are huge barriers to leading a social media network or online service. You can't just transfer your details to another platform. You have to shut down your account and start again. But of course, the companies get to keep all your data. It's a total mess. At Internet of People, we're returning the internet to its early vision of decentralized nodes, providing direct connections between people. Our Mercury protocol bypasses all the unnecessary middlemen and returns control of your personal data to where it belongs, with you. Mercury takes a common sense approach to data privacy and security. Everything is managed around profiles, which contain personal data you're happy to share with the wider world. Because we know life can be complicated, you can have as many profiles as you want. Perhaps you want one for friends, one for family, one for dating, and one for work. These profiles are all cryptographically linked, so they're easy to switch between. But no one else will know these profiles are linked unless you share that information. When you want to use an app or service, you select a profile to use, and then select which parts of that profile you want to share. No one gets more information about you than they need. Shared data is stored in a decentralized way to prevent censorship and minimize the incentives and consequences for hacking. In fact, wherever possible, your data never even leaves your device. And because all your data is managed via profiles, it's simple to revoke access to your data or to switch to a new service or social media platform. Data privacy doesn't mean abandoning social media and all the amazing services today decentralized apps, this whole new internet of dapps will connect people directly and provide the same great services, all while respecting users' privacy and personal information. With Mercury, we're rebuilding the internet how it was supposed to be.
So after the video, you probably say, that's great, awesome. How and when can I use it? At least I hope so. So let me tell you where we stand. Our Mercury protocol is open source on GitHub now. And we successfully send around first Hello World messages through the network. And the API is fully functional. So we are about to release the first step called Mercury Connect. And that will enable you to easily handle your profiles and your keys. And when that is finished, developers can easily build dApps on top of it in the next weeks. Also, which is part of another project of us, we have so-called Titania boxes that allow you to very easily join the network. It's a plug-and-play solution. You just plug it in with a USB into your device, and you can set up a node. So it is as easy as installing a Sony PlayStation. Everyone can do it. Also, we are already listed on major exchanges, such as Coinbase and Bittrex, which is a comparative advantage over new competitors entering the market field. They still have to fulfill these goals. So at IoP, we have two headquarters. One is in Budapest, and the other one is in Germany. But on top of that, we have representatives in more than 40 countries in the world. And that gives us almost global brand coverage. Because in Vietnam, especially in the second world, because the problem of centralization and censorship is there much more present, let's say in Vietnam, you can find people that know IoP. And crypto-minded people in Brazil, for sure, know IoP. So that's another comparative advantage for our project. We already done that. So this is us, and that's the dream we share. And after my speech, I would personally be on cloud 9 if you did two things. Number one, follow our social media. You can find it on www.iop.global, because there you get information before the rest of the market does and before bloggers jump on the bandwagon. And we are about to integrate the whole tech stack, GitHub, and developer team of another crypto project in the very, very near future. When that happens, IoP will almost overnight advance in years of development. So don't miss the chance and stay in the loop. And number two, I want you to take away the core of my speech. As I said, the internet has huge problems because of centralization, and it will be decentralized again. And in that technological competition, IoP offers you the most viable approach to do so. So to round that up, I want to use a bit to the knuckle comparison again. IoP is building the MILF version form of tomorrow's internet, an internet that is well experienced, that knows all the tricks in the book, that knows how to exactly suit your needs, that knows how to keep a secret, that is convenient and easygoing, but is unfucked. Thank you.